So do you also use Webflow for your business? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to notify team on Google Chat for Webflow form submission. So over here I'm running a digital marketing agency and we use Webflow to get the details of our potential clients. So now what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Webflow account, which is as soon as we receive the new details of our potential client, automatically my team on Google Chat should be notified about the same so that they can be aware of the new lead received. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between Webflow and Google Chat. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also wish to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen. Welcome to my screen, everyone. So as you know, in this tutorial, I'll guide you through setting up an automation that automatically sends Google Chat notification every time a Webflow form is submitted. This ensures that your team is immediately notified of new submissions, helping you to stay on the top of the leads and inquiries without missing a beat. So let's get started with a really simple example. So let's say that my name is dummy user and I'm going to submit this Webflow form right over here. So I'm just going to click on submit, and yes, you can see thank you for submitting, your submission has been received. So now I'm going to put my Google Chat, and yes, you can see that my team is automatically notified within few seconds as soon as I submitted the form. You can see the same name, phone, email, and the city which we entered, right? So yes, this is the power of automation, and you can also create this simple automation for your business, but for that you have to watch this tutorial till the end. So as I've already mentioned in my introduction, that we have simply created a connection between Webflow form account and our Google Chat account with the help of Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So yes, in order to start with this, I've simply opened the landing page of Pabbly by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy, and as soon as we're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we're going to get two options. One is sign in and the other one is sign up for free. So if you're a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of stars free every month. But over here I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in, and as soon as we're going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly, but in today's video we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications, which is Webflow and Google Chat, right? So I'm just going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect's account, and as soon as we're going to click on access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we're going to click on this button which says create workflow, and now it is asking me for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save the workflow in this folder which says automations, and on my dashboard you can see multiple folders which I have already created in which I save my workflows. So if you wish to learn how to create a new folder or a subfolder, you can click on this hyperlink given right over here which says learn more, and now it is asking me for the workflow name. So I want the workflow name to be how to notify team on Google Chat for Webflow form submission, Webflow to Google Chat, and then we're going to click on create, and as soon as we're going to click on create, it is opening the most important window for automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action on this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions follow the commands, and as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So here we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. So by this you can finally understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger, and in order to start with our automation we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application I'm going to select it as Webflow right over here. So I'm just going to search for Webflow, and as you can see Webflow V1 and V2. So over here we are going to use it as V2. So we're going to select this, and now for the trigger event we are going to select it as form submitted. So basically trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start. So over here what I want is that as soon as a new form is submitted, my workflow should be started, right? So that's why we selected form submitted as the trigger event. So now I'm going to click on connect right over here, and as soon as you're going to click on connect, it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your Webflow account with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me. Click on add a new connection connection, and now it is asking me for the token. And to get this token, we have to follow the help text, and it is saying to obtain the API token, log into your Webflow account, hover on the site and click on the site setting button, navigate to apps and integrations, and then click on generate API token button. Okay, we're going to follow the same. I'm going to open my Webflow account, and after coming over here, we have to hover on this site. Okay, so this is the site I want to create this automation for, so I'm just going to hover on this, and after coming on here, you can see site settings appeared. So I'm just going to click on the site settings, and as soon as I'm going to click on the site settings, from the left side of the bar, we have to go on apps and integrations. So I'm just going to go on this. We're going to scroll down right over here, and after scrolling down, you can see API access, and over here is the button of generate API token. So we're just going to click on this blue button right over here, and now it is asking me for the token name, and to give this a token name, I'm going to keep it as Google Chat, because this is the integration with Google Chat, right? So I just want to keep it clear, so for that I'm going to keep it as Google Chat right over here. And after entering the name of the token, we're going to move on forward and give it some permissions. So for the assets, I'm going to keep it as read and write. We are going to move on forward. For the forms, I'm going to keep it as read and write. We are going to move on forward. For the pages, again, we are going to keep it as read and write. For the site, read and write. And then we're going to click on generate token, and as I was going to do so, yes, you can see that this is my API token. So I'm just going to copy this API token right from here, and then we're going to paste it right over here in our workflow. So I'm just going to paste it right over here, and after pasting my API token, we are going to click on this button, blue button, which says save. And as soon as we're going to click on save, yes, you can see that we have successfully connected our Webflow V2 account with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. And over here you can see that this is our site ID, which is e-commerce. Okay, so this is the site we recently connected with our workflow. Okay, so now we're going to click on this button which says save and send test request, and as soon as we're going to click on save and send test request, it is saying waiting for response, and in the notes it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to capture this response, we have to do a test submission or record. So in order to test our connection, also we have to get this response. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to open my form right from here, and we're going to do another test submission with the new details. So I'm just going to open my form, and as you can see that this is my form, so I'm going to enter the details. So for the first name, let's say that I'm going to keep it as demo, last name user, this is the mobile number, the email, and the city as Bhopal. And after entering all of these details, we are going to click on submit, and as soon as we're going to click on submit, it is saying thank you, your submission has been received. So now what has happened is that Webflow has sent the details of a submission to our workflow. So I'm just going to open my workflow and check that if Pabbly has captured the response for the same or not. So I'm just going to open my workflow, and as you can see that Pabbly has captured the response for the same. Over here you can see all the details which we entered, and to get that details, we are going to scroll down right over here. You can see all the details. You can see the same first name, the last name, the mobile number, the email, and the same city which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step. And now what will happen is that as soon as the new form submission is made in my Webflow account, automatically Pabbly is going to capture the details of that submission and trigger this workflow. Okay, so we're going to move on forward. So now what I want is I want to notify my team on Google Chat for every new Webflow submission. Okay, so for the action application, we are going to select it as Google Chat. So I'm just going to search for Google Chat right over here, and as you can see Google Chat, so we're going to select it. And after selecting the action application, for the action event, we're going to select it as create message and click on connect. And as soon as we're going to click on connect, it is asking me for the chat webhook URL, and to get this, we are going to click on this hyperlink right over here which says learn more. Okay, so as soon as we're going to click on this hyperlink, it will redirect us to the forum window of Pabbly Connect, and over here you can see all these steps in order to get the webhook URL. So we're going to follow this step one by one. Okay, so first I'm just going to close this, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to open my Google Chat, and now I'm going to open the space I want to create this automation for. Go towards the space name, space settings, and then apps and integrations from the left side of the bar. And once again we have to go on this webhooks. And now after coming on towards the webhooks, over here you can see the button of add webhooks. So we have to click on this button right over here, and now it is asking me for the name of the webhook. So let's say that I'm going to keep the name as testing right over here, and after entering this name, it is asking me for the avatar URL. So if you wish, you can definitely add an avatar URL, but I don't wish to add so directly I'm going to click on save. And as soon as we're going to click on save, yes, you can see a new webhook has been created named testing. So I'm just going to go on the three dots and then copy link. So we're just going to copy copy this webhook URL and paste it right over here in our workflow. And after pasting this, it is asking me for the message I want to send. Okay, so I want to send a message something like this, right? So I'm just going to enter the message right over here first. And yes, you can see that this is the message I want to send, which is new lead alert, name, phone, email, city. A new lead has submitted the contact form. Please follow with the lead promptly. Says this is the message I want to send. But you must notice that I've left these spaces in front of name, phone, email and city blank, because we are going to enter the lead details right over here. We're going to enter the same lead details which we received in the response of our Webflow form submission. Okay, so you can see that these are the same details which we are going to enter right over here in the Google chat message. But we're not going to copy paste the details or enter it manually, but instead we are going to map it. So you must be wondering, what is mapping? So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step, where we selected Webflow as our trigger application. So we are just going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only, and as soon as we're going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. So over here I'm going to give you an example that it is asking me for the name, right? So let's say that I'm going to enter the name right over here manually by typing it like this. Then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and I've entered it manually. But let's say that I'm going to erase this manually entered name, and then we're going to map this name right from here in the previous response. So let's say that I'm going to look for name in the previous response, and as you can see, first name, last name, which is demo user. So let's say that we're going to map this right over here from the previous response. Then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change, right? So that's why we do mapping right over here to run our workflow in real time. So as you can see, I mapped the first name, put a space, and then the last name. So same we're going to do with the phone number too. So I'm just going to look for number in the previous response, and as you can see, the same. So we're going to map it. We're going to map the email too. I'm going to look for email in the previous response, and as you can see, the email. So we're going to map it. We're going to map the city right over here. I'm just going to look for city in the previous response. For that, we are just going to search for city, and as you can see, Bhopal. So we're going to map it. And after mapping all of these details, we are going to click on this button which says save and send test request. And as soon as we're going to click on save and send test request, yes, you can see that we have successfully received a positive response, that we have successfully sent a message like this to our Google chat space. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open my space and check for the new lead alert. And yes, you can see a new lead alert right over here. You can see new lead alert, name, demo user. You can see the phone, the email and the city which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow. And now what will happen is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Webflow, automatically my team would be notified on Google chat. Okay, so yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, but I'll just test this workflow once, and this time I'm going to give you a real-time example. So what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to open the form and do the test submission with the new details. So let's say that I'm going to keep the details as this, and now for the city, let's say that I'm going to keep it as Mumbai right over here. So I'm just going to enter it. We're going to move on forward and click on submit, and as soon as we're going to click on submit right over here, yes, you can see submission received. So now what has happened is that Webflow has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. Pabbly captured the response, triggered the workflow, and further notified our team on Google chat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open my Google chat and check for the new message received. So I'm just going to open my Google chat, and yes, you can see a new message has been received. So yes, this time we are not going back towards our workflow and clicking on save and send test request. You can see automatically we received this message without any manual efforts. You can see the name, the phone, the email and the city are exactly the same which we entered in our test submission, right? So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow. And now I'll just summarize this for you once. So for the trigger application, we selected Webflow. For the trigger event, we selected form submitted. For the action application, we selected Google chat, and then for the action event, we selected create message because I wanted to notify my team on Google chat for every new Webflow form submission. And yes, we were successful with our workflow too. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.